Good morning, one and all. Welcome to my today's class. Today I will be doing PUC first year's English lesson number 9, The Farmer's Wife. Lesson number 9, it's a poem, The Farmer's Wife, written by P. Lalita Kumari. Written by P. Lalita Kumari. Her pen name is Volga. P. Lalita Kumari is a well-known Telugu writer. Volga is her pen name. She was born in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh state. She has written many stories, novels, poetries. So this is all about the poetess. Coming to the poem, The Farmer's Wife is a story of the farmer who committed suicide. Finding no other way, we all know India is a land of villages. Agriculture is the backbone of our Indian economy. Nearly 80% of the population in India depends upon agriculture for their livelihood. Most of the people depend upon agriculture for their livelihood, that is, they are farmers. 80% contributes to farmers. Farmer is the one who supplies food for us. But if we see to the life of a farmer, it is very painful. Our Indian farmers are mostly poor farmers who depend upon old methods of cultivation, who uses old method for growing of crops. As rain is seasonal, monsoons are seasonal in India. The monsoon is like a gamble. It may rain, it may not rain, it may rain very heavily. So it's like a gamble. Sometimes there may be rain, sometimes there may be no rains at all. When there is no rain at all, we call it a drought. When there is too much of heat, no rain at all, it is a drought. Because of drought also, crops fail. If there is too much of rain, we say it's flood. It is a flood. If we say flood, there is too much of rain. Because of these floods also, the crops get destroyed. So in both the cases, if it rains, if it does not rain at all, if it rains too much, if it does not rain at all, in both the cases, farmer is the loser. Since farmer depends on the seasonal rain to grow crops, since he raises loan to grow crops, farmer is poor, so he has to raise loans. Finally, if his farm gives a good yield, if his crops are sold at a good rate in the market, then the farmer is happy. But otherwise, he suffers the whole year. From where will he pay the debt, the loan which he has taken? How will he feed his children, his family? Not only for his family, he grows food for all the people living. In general, we can say, farmer grows food for all of us. But if the rains fail, then not only the farmer, even we suffer. The cost of the crops, the cost of the grains, the cost of the grain is increased. The jowar, the rice, the wheat which is sold in the market is sold at a higher rate. So the farmer plays a very important role. If there is a drought, if there is a flood, he is left with nothing, because in both the cases the crops get destroyed. So in such a situation, he feels there is no way left out for him. Then he takes a drastic step of what? Of committing suicide. He wants to end up his life. He thinks of ending up his life. We see in the news, we read in the newspaper that so many farmers committed suicide because they could not repay the loan, because the crops did not yield good. There was no good yield. So they did not get good returns from the crop. They had raised loan. There was no other way. The farmer, many of the farmers committed suicide. We all have read about it. But is this the only solution? No, not at all. Committing suicide is not a solution for any problem. So here, the farmer's wife questions the dead body of the farmer. This poem is all about how the farmer's wife, the dependent of the farmer, is questioning the body of the farmer. What about the family of the farmer, the dependents, like the farmer's wife, the farmer's children, the farmer's parents maybe. Old age parents are there, wife is there, children are there who are dependent upon the farmer. If the farmer commits a suicide, what are these people going to do? How are they going to lead the life? So here in this poem, the poetess brings about the situations faced by the farmer's wife. The farmer had raised a loan and he had grown cotton crop. This poem, this story is about a farmer. This poem is about a farmer who had raised a loan. For what he had raised loan? To grow cotton crop. But this crop got destroyed, gave him no yield. His crops had gone. He was in debt. He had taken loan. He had raised his cotton crop. But there was no yield, good yield. So he was in debt. Debt means liability loan. That is, he had to repay the loan. But from where is he going to repay when there is no yield? The farmer commits suicide by consuming poison. So this farmer, what he does, he finds no other way. So he thinks that ending up his life is the solution, but it is not so. Here the farmer consumes poison and ends up his life. The farmer, however, ends up his life. What does the farmer's wife do? How does she face the situation? So let us begin with the poem. You are virtuous and you are gone, poor sinner that I am remain before your creditors, unable to bend your head or stretch out your hand or sell your crops. You crossed over. But I was born with a head bent. But I was born with a head bent, a hand outstretched, not unused to being sold. Knowing all this, did you leave me? This is a question. There is a question mark. The farmer's wife is questioning whom? The dead body which is kept there. In the textbook you can see in the picture that there is a body and there are few ladies, the scene where a dead body is kept and all the people are sitting. Here the poetess explains how farmer's wife reacts on the death of her husband. When the husband dies, how the farmer's wife, when the farmer dies, how the wife reacts. The farmer's wife says, you are gone. You are gone means you are dead. You ended up your life. You became moral. You have become moral by dying. But what about me? I am a sinner still living. She says she has to face the creditors who come to take back their money. She has to face them now because farmer is not there to face them. His wife is left out. Children are very small. So it is the farmer's wife who has to face the creditors. She says, you did not want to be shameful. You did not want to lose your self-respect. So you lost your life. But now it's me who has to face the people from whom you borrowed money. So farmer's wife is telling the farmer, however you ended up your life. But one or the other person living here should face the creditors. And it is I, farmer's wife, who has to face the creditors. The person who gave you loan cannot ask you to repay back the money because you are not there, you are dead. The creditor cannot sell your crops because there is no crop yield. There is no yield at all. Then how is he going to take back his money? He is going to come and ask me to give money. The word used in the poem is, he cannot ask you because you are crossed over, you are dead. Crossed over means you are dead. The farmer's wife says, she is born with a head bent. The head bent means the women always listen to their husbands. She is dependent on her husband for everything. She stretches her hand before her husband for everything. We all know that in our society, women were mostly dependent on men. As a daughter, she was dependent on her father. As a wife, on her husband. And as an old mother, on her son. So the woman always depends on the male. As a daughter, she depends on the father. As a wife, she depends on the husband. As an old mother, she depends upon her son. However, things have changed today, but still woman is said to be bent. But the farmer's wife here questions her dead husband. Knowing the helpless condition of your wife, you left her all alone in this world to face the people. So this is all about the explanation for the first few lines. Coming to the next few lines of the poem. You found release with poison, poisoning my bitter existence. The cotton crops is but yesterday's, but our family. There is one more question mark. She is questioning again the dead body which is kept there. The farmer's wife is bringing out her pain by saying that you have ended up your life. It is you who have ended up your life by consuming poison. Correct? But you have poisoned the whole life of your wife. The lady who is helpless, it is she who has to face the whole world now. She says, you have only left back bitter experiences. You only thought of your life. But what about the life of the family members who are dependent on you? What about their life? What about their future? She says, you only thought of the cotton crops that you lost, but never thought how your loved ones would lead life without you. So this is the question of the farmer's wife to the dead body of the farmer. She is questioning him angrily. She is bringing out that pain. So the next few lines of the poem. How often have I drowned in it? How many times have I escaped death? Whether you abused or reviled me, kicked me when you were drunk, I thought he is but a man. I thought he is but a man. Little did I dream you would deal me a death blow like this. So she says she never dreamt of such a thing. So the farmer's wife says there are problems in life and everyone has to face it. Even she was completely drowned in these problems. That is, she had to face so many problems. Earlier she had done nothing. No outside work she knew. But now she has to face the problems. But still she faced them and came out of it. She says she has escaped death many times. She refers to her life experiences. She says, so many times you have scolded, you have beaten, you have kicked your wife when you were drunk. But as a wife, as a farmer's wife, she had undergone all these situations and still remained calm, thinking that he was a man, farmer was a man, thinking the female is lower than the man. You man is great. Thinking you were a man. I tolerated all this. From here we come to know that she had a painful life. She suffered pain in her life. This farmer would beat her, would scold her whenever he came drunk home. So she would tolerate all this. She suffered all this. Why? Only because she was a woman. Here in our society, man is considered to be supreme, great, strong, the family runner, head of the family. Women have to bear the pain, whatever man gives to her. Maybe it is abusing her, beating her, scolding her, whatever. So the farmer's wife says, I thought you were a man and tolerated all your acts. But I never thought that you being a man would end up your life by consuming poison. A coward who couldn't face the situation ends up life in this way. The next few lines of the poem. True, the crop was gone, the debt remained. Our dignity hit the dust. Our hearts are turned to water. But how did you imagine my back would bear the burden of 4 children? You saw your crop destroyed. What of the harvest of my womb? Can I leave them to the wind? Like worm-eaten cotton pods. Again there is a question mark. It takes a moment to die, but open your mouth and ask, what of this? Why of this? What of this? Why of this? Needs a firm heart to teach my children to clench the fist, not merely for a handful of rice. So these are the last few lines of the poem. Here the farmer's wife says, yes, I know that I know that you have lost the crops. You have no money to repay your loan. Your respect has been hurt. You have lost your heart because the crop yield is 0. But how did you think of ending your life? Why didn't you think of your wife, your 4 children? Did you not realize that your wife is not strong enough to bear the burden of 4 children? Did you not realize this? Did you not think of it? Did you not know that your wife was not strong enough? The farmer's wife questions him. The farmer's wife says, how could you even imagine me to bear the burden of 4 children? So to whom she is asking all these questions? It is to the farmer's dead body which is kept there. Further she says, you could only see to your cotton crops that were destroyed. But what about your own children who were born from the womb of your wife? You only felt the pain of losing your crops, but you did not see to the pain of going away from your children, leaving your children and going away. Can these children of yours be left to be carried away by wind? That is, left without care? Can they be just thrown away? So this is referred to the worm-eaten cotton pods. The worm-eaten cotton pods which are there when the cotton grows, grows, there are pods, cotton pods. So when it is eaten by the worms, it is removed and thrown away. So she is asking the farmer, should your children be thrown away like these worm-eaten cotton pods? She says, it only takes a moment to die. It is not a big thing to die. You have to face the situation, the problems, and lead life courageously, strongly, bravely. We have to have the power to live. We have to open our mouth and ask, what of this? Why of this? She is left alone to face the people around her. Her husband has left all responsibilities on her. She has to bring up her children as her husband is dead. She says she has to become strong to bring up her children. She has to teach her children to become strong. She doesn't want her children to be weak like her husband who has committed suicide. She says that she will see that her children will be brave, strong. That is why the clench of a fist is used. Fist means the folded fingers, fist. She has to teach her children how to gain knowledge, how to get education, how to lead a strong life. She has to teach them to be strong, not merely for a handful of rice, that is to earn food, but she says she has to make them so strong that they must be able to battle in life and win the battle by leading life and facing the problems and getting out of those problems successfully and not end up the life like her husband. She says she will not embrace death, but she will embrace life. She says she will not embrace death, but she will embrace life. She will lead a successful life. She will not end up her life like her husband. Here we can see that though she is a woman, women are said to be weak, not actually weak. Though she is a woman, she strongly says this. She is ready to face the problems in life. She is ready for the struggles of life. She is ready to live, not to die. She doesn't want to die. She wants to live. She wants to face the problems. So we can see that if a woman wills to do something, then surely she will do it. Life is a mixture of joys and sorrows, ups and downs. Maybe it is a man, maybe it is a woman. All of us should face it, beat it, and win it. And that is life. Committing suicide is not a solution for anything whatsoever. So, this is all about the poem, The Farmer's Wife. Hope you all have understood the poem. Do like, share, and subscribe. Your comments are always welcome. Thank you.